4 ounces and 6 ounces of gold per ton. And I said, I also have brown ores that assay out at 18 ounces of gold per ton. And he said, we'll be there next week, and which was happy for me, or made me happy. So anyway, the man came in and flew in, and he came to the site. I showed him the same slideshow at the motel the evening he flew in, and he came to the site. He went down in the shaft with me. We pumped the water out. The water, incidentally, comes up in the shaft 50 foot, so it's 15 foot from the top of the shaft. It takes 28 minutes for us to pump all the water out and keep it out. So we were keeping the water out, and Charles lowered myself and a senior exploration geologist down into the shaft, and he pulled the elevator out of the way for us so we could walk around. And the exploration geologist was down in there, looked at the vein. He could see it. It was off in the sidewall of the vein, in the sidewall of the shaft. It had just left the opening, and he could see it there, and he sampled it and measured the angle with a Brunton compass. And he told me that that vein, he says, is a true Fisher-type gold vein. He says, what that means is, he said, that vein goes to the center of the earth. He said, now we have record in all of our books showing all the ore deposits in the world, and we have record of all the ore deposits in North Carolina, but we were not aware of the fact that there was actually true Fisher-type gold veins in North Carolina. Well, there aren't, except in Rutherford County, where I'm at. Now, he said that these veins, or this vein, goes to the center of the earth. He said most people like you have to show us gold from the surface all the way down 1,000 foot deep before we'll come in and take over. He said, now, Wally, he said, you don't have to show us this. He said, with your type of veins, he says, you show us gold at the surface, and we'll know that there's that same amount of gold all the way down, continuous to the center of the earth. Well, of course, they can only mine down 2 miles deep, not to the center of the earth because of temperature, because it gets too hot. But that was encouraging. So I was told I have to produce 4 core samples along this vein, across the property, at the surface, any depth, 100 foot, 200 foot, any depth I'd choose. And once I show him 4 core samples with a 1/4 ounce of gold per ton in, they will come in and take over. And this will mean that there's $500 million worth of gold in this vein, in 1,000 foot of length, going down 2 miles deep, in a vein 5 foot wide. I have to show this 1/4 ounce per ton over a 5 foot width. Now, the vein is 20 foot wide. I only have to show 1/4 of that amount, 1/16 of an ounce of gold. So anyway, it cost $6,000 to core drill a hole, to have Longyear come in and core drill holes. And I didn't have much money left at this point. I had bought a lot of equipment for processing. I didn't know that Homestake was going to actually come in and actually be interested in mining. And so I was all set with equipment to start. I had 3 jaw crushers. I have 2 ball mills. I have a rod mill. I have electrical equipment. I've got a lot of equipment for us to use, which once the Homestake Mining Company comes in, we will have to sell this equipment. And when we sell it, the monies from this equipment will go to all the limited partners. It belongs to them. So anyway, I didn't want to hire a core drilling company to come in, which I should have, but I didn't want to. And so I opted to build my own core drilling rig. And I contacted some people in Princeton, Kentucky. I purchased a core drilling head, a small core drilling head, which you could drill with a 2-inch core drilling pipe and get an inch and 3/16 core sample out with. Now, this drill is capable of drilling down 3,000 feet deep, and it's very capable of getting core samples, and it is a very good drill. It's Chicago Pneumatic 15, and Chicago Pneumatic is out of business, but the drill itself, will go on because this drill will never wear out. It is built so well. So I proceeded to build a core drilling rig. And I'll show some pictures of that. So I went to Tri-City Concrete and asked Jim and Tom Robbins if they could help me out. I needed a truck, a large truck that could carry a lot of weight. If they could help me out with a truck, and I told them I had very little money to work with. Well, these are very good Christians and very nice men to deal with, and this truck now has got 3 live rear axles. It's a cement mixer truck. It can carry 60,000 pounds. It's a very heavy-duty truck. It's got a Detroit diesel engine, a 671 Detroit diesel engine in it that they had completely overhauled, and that engine only has 100 miles on it. This truck has 2 transmissions. It's got 15 gears forward. It has good tires on it. It was roadworthy. I drove this truck home, and they sold me this engine alone. If it was shot, if it was just rebuildable, it would be worth $5,000. They sold me this whole entire truck, engine and all, for $1,500, which was fabulous of them to do that for me. It helped me out tremendously. So I was going to build a core drilling rig on this truck, and you can see the shaft head frame in the background with the safety cage ladder. There is my completed electrical shed with the 2, 4, 6, 8 doors on it. It's got just a little plastic roof, and there's my telephone pole. I've got underground electricity to this pole, then it's going to go up here and then go down to the shaft. So I stripped the deck. I'm a good welder now. I welded all these 4-inch channel irons on here, some pieces of the Strongbacks I got from Colton Deck. There you can see my 9,000 gallon water tank, and you can see this 4-inch stainless steel line going in the top of the tank for the water, and there's a 6-inch line coming out the bottom going down that way. Now this piles of dirt here is loaded with free gold. There was a 6-inch wide seam of brown ore that had 18 ounces of gold in every ton of it in this road here. When I dug this road out, and I put it in that pile, and I had it all piled up there before I finally realized that that seam was in there. So that gold is in those piles. It will be separated and sold, and we will just give the gold to the partners. This is a Gallagher pump that I bought from Colton Deck for $2,500. Now I need this pump, but I had to trade it back to them for an engine later on, and I will later on buy it back from them. So there I have a steel deck on the truck. Oh, wait a minute, I'll go back one picture here. You can see there's a cement mixer body laying there that we took off of this truck. There's a conveyor. That's a radial stacking conveyor, 50 feet long. I purchased in Pickens, South Carolina. I'm not even sure what I paid for it, but I know I didn't pay much for it. There's my completed drill rig. This ladder here folds up out of the way. I have a 4-foot deck on the side that folds up or down, making a 12-foot wide truck bed for working. This beam here is a piece of highway bridge steel. I've got a pulley up there. On the other side of that beam is a piece of highway guardrail for the rod guides. Here's a hydraulic cylinder I purchased from Colton Deck that raises that drilling derrick. This is a stand that locks it in place so it don't drop down if this hose breaks. This is a horse trough tank. I got water coming from that 9,000 gallon water tank. I pump it from the shaft into the 9,000 gallon water tank. It comes across the property through a 3-inch line down to a 2-inch line. Goes through this automatic air valve. It's got a big float, a big copper float in here. It allows that water to come in until that tank is full, and it regulates the level of it. This high pressure beam water pump, it's got a pipe down into that tank, so I can pump water with this high pressure pump through a hose up through the top of the drill pipe, down 3,000 feet deep, and flush out a drill hole as I'm drilling. This is a very good core drilling rig right now. This is, of course, the pulleys and gears and saddles for the ball mills and the rod mills. Here's the gears down here. You see how large they are. These things weigh, the complete mill weighs 60,000 pounds apiece. This is all that dirt that has the gold in it.